from HopZine.com. Thanks for joining me for another video beer review. This time we are looking at another bottle of beer from the fantastic Kernel Brewery in London. It's a bottle of their Breakfast Stout, French Oak it says. So this is a coffee kind of laden stout at 9.3% ABV, aged in French Oak. From what I can make out, I think it's an old barrel that was left by Menno from Dumoulin after the Great British Beer Festival. Blimey. Whoa, it's a bit lively. I think that says a lot already. I've tried this once before. It was at the brewery. I will turn back to the camera in a second. Evan, the head brewer, was manning the stall. They open on a Saturday morning just to the general public, and he was manning the stall with Evan that day, and he gave me a side by side of the regular one and this one. So yes, this is probably the most lively Kernel beer I've ever had. And that really reminds me of the kind of experience I had, and we're going back maybe 5-6 months now, so it is definitely, I'm sure it's changed quite dramatically in time. You can see quite a lot of carbonation streaming up at just around there, kind of like the head. Just keep an eye on that bottle. I don't want it fobbing up all over the place. Yeah, it's got a load of carbonation just fizzing up to join that head. So let's check out the aroma. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Well, you can see it. So it is pretty much a black beer. The head, mid ashy, warm grey. It's got that kind of like top of a Coke float with a big lump of vanilla ice cream in there. But yeah, looks good. So let's check out the aroma. Oh, lovely. It's definitely got a real kind of like heavy roast quality. Roasted coffee, I mean. But then there's a softness to it. There's a sweet softness. Yeah, there's loads of kind of milk chocolate. I'd say really good quality milk chocolate, but definitely milk chocolate. But kind of hanging around the edges of it, there is a fruitiness. And I'm going to say something like peaches or apricot. Like quite jammy. There is a mild funkiness to it. Not lactic, but something slightly like fruity ester. It smells nice actually. But yeah, it smells exactly as it should, but with this little extra something. It's not. I don't find it an oaky aroma, but it's adding a slightly funky note. Is the French oak? So let's dive in. Cheers. It's dramatic how much difference it made. I found the regular one a bit flat. This clearly is really active. I think the one thing, I think they had to reseed it quite heavily because it had been sat in a barrel for like, I think it might have been like 4 months or something, maybe longer. The carbonation, there is a bit of a fizz, but it's not overpowering at all. Yeah, it's a purely one. It's got a real big, juicy kind of fig, raisins, like soaked raisins. Definitely a really kind of like raw, like mouldy fruit, and a bit feisty. But still juicy as well. I guess it's. But once again, peaches, apricots. There is a slight funky note in there. That dryness of the coffee keeps coming back. A real. Let's see now. The chocolate is a lot more heavy and dark and bitter. Actually, I took a whiff, and that funky note's kind of more and more. Wow. Really unusual, and I think it's really evolved from that moment when I tried it at the brewery. It did have a slight lactic note then, and a fizz and a slight thinness to it, weirdly. Well, you can see it's got plenty of carbonation. It's making me burp. Yeah, a funny one. Unlike anything I've ever had. Unlike any other Kernel beer, well, that's for sure. It's really interesting. I'm not the kind of biggest expert on the effects of oak aging, but yeah, it's got a sweeter note to it, without a doubt. But the beer that was put in the barrel still remains, but it's changed dramatically. I think it's really exciting that a brewery like Kernel are playing around with barrel aging, and it shows just how the simple use of a French oak barrel. It doesn't have to be Brettanomyces, it doesn't have to be bourbon barrel. It's just French oak, and it's just changed it so dramatically. So yeah, really interesting, really worth. And probably not available anymore. They only make it in very small quantities. But that is a bottle of Kernel Brewery's Breakfast Stout, French oak, 9.3% ABV. A really odd, peculiar little beer, but works. I won't want to drink a load of it. So I think it's a bit angular. So a head scratcher for sure, but an enjoyable beer nonetheless. And do you know what? I think I prefer this to the actual regular breakfast stout. So yeah, check it out if you can. Anyway, I'm Rob from HopZine.com. See you next time. Cheers.